the Johnson's Wax Research Tower in Racine, Wisconsin, come work-saving waxes and polishes that are used around the world. And now the makers of Johnson's Wax present the exciting television game, The Name's the Same. Now, let's meet our panel of famous names. One of America's best-known sports commentators, Bill Stern. Famous radio and television actress, Joan Alexander. Bright young comedian of the show of shows, Carl Reiner. And your host and moderator, another famous name, Robert Q. Lewis.
Good evening, and once again, welcome to The Name's the Same. Tonight, as usual, you're going to meet some people who have very famous names. Names the same as celebrities, places, and things that we all know. Incidentally, folks, there's an interesting article in the current issue of the Saturday Evening Post, which is called TV's Best Idea, and which talks about our show. I think you'll find it rather interesting. Now, let's meet our first guest with a famous name. Now, let's get our preliminaries over with. Where are you from, sir?
Birmingham, Alabama.
Birmingham, Alabama. You use that mic over there. That one's specially set up for you. And what do you do down in Birmingham?
Work for United States Steel Corporation.
Do you? Good for you. Well, now, we know you've got a famous name, and, of course, we're all anxious to take a look at it. From now on, I'm going to refer to you as Mr. X, just so I don't give away that name by accident. However, before we look at it, let me say that for submitting this name to us, we're sending $10 to Mrs. J.E. Riley of Alabama. Now, let's let our home audience see this gentleman's famous name. Really your name, isn't it? Really and truly. We check all the names submitted on the show. We check birth certificates and other documents. You can be sure this is the gentleman's name. Panel, you got to cross-examine this gentleman, find out what his name is. 10 questions apiece, as usual. Each panelist who uses up his questions or fails to guess the answer must pay Mr. X a check for $25. All right, Bill Stern, welcome back. Good to see you. And why don't you start?
Are you alive?
No.
Were you ever living?
No.
I'll pass.
Well, thank you very much, Bill. I may do the same for you. Then you can only be one of 146 million other people. Do you appear in American fiction?
No.
Do you appear in European fiction?
Yes.
Would it help me to know what country you're connected with primarily?
It might help. A lot of things it might help. I think it might... would you mean the author? Do you mean the main character in the book?
Where the thing took place, the book or whatever.
I think that might help you considerably.
Oh, would this country be one of the romance countries?
This is the... as far as the plot is concerned, no.
Would this character have worked in England?
Yes, but you would not know him primarily for his association with England.
I pass.
All right, Joni, 10 questions.
Would you know the author for being English?
Yes.
The author is English.
Yes.
Is the author, was the author, well, is the author dead?
Yes.
Yes.
Was the author a playwright as well as a writer?
I know who you're thinking of. No.
He was not?
He may have written plays, but not to my best knowledge.
Was the author, by any chance, someone like Charles Dickens?
No.
No.
No? Was he a poet, this author?
Again, not to my knowledge.
Not to your knowledge. Well, I pass, because I'm really not doing very well.
Bill, 8 questions.
Have we established when this author lived?
We have not.
Did this author live in this century?
No.
Did he live in the last century?
No.
Wow. Well, let's get that established first of all. Did he live within the past 2 centuries?
Within the past 2.
Let's take him back to 1700. Has he been alive since 1700?
Yes, he
I'll
was...
pass. Carl knows everybody from 1700 on.
Because I lived in those days.
That's right.
This is my 3rd time around.
And very high, too. All right, Carl, 6 questions.
This person who you are, would you be considered a good person?
Yes.
I think so, yeah.
Would you be considered a swashbuckling type of person, one who did heroic things?
Not in the strictest sense of the word. The gentleman did heroic things, but I do not think you would call him swashbuckling. Would you call him swashbuckling?
No.
I wouldn't either.
You mean he never swashed any buckles?
He never buckled his
Well, in that case, I'd like to pass.
All right. Joni, 5. This is a toughie. 5
Sure
questions,
is.
Joni.
Did you ever do anything that was not considered quite a good thing to do?
Who hasn't?
No, I mean, did you ever steal? I was thinking of one character in particular. Did you ever steal?
Well, I don't want to mislead you. The gentleman stole, but I think it was forgivable stealing in his particular case.
It was forgivable stealing?
Yes. Oh.
You mean he stole and gave to
I am
other
not
people?
going to elucidate.
Well, did he steal and give to other people?
No.
He did
yes,
not.
Yes, he did, but that also is another character. You have only 3 questions.
How do you know what character?
I know you're
I'm
thinking about Robin Hood, and you're wrong. You have 3 questions.
You said your author was not a poet, so I can't. Well, I pass. I have no
All
idea.
right, let's keep it rolling. Bill, 5 questions.
Did this thing that this character did, was it something that he did that made him famous?
Yes, it was.
The character was famous, not the author.
Well, they were both famous, but the character was famous for something that he did, yes.
This was an English author. We've already established that. Did this incident occur outside of England?
Yes.
Did it happen in this continent?
On this continent?
I got an idea. Did it have anything to do with an island?
It certainly did.
It did have something
You have 1 question.
Oh, I'll set it up for Carl.
No, take it, please. I don't want any charity.
I'm not sure about this.
Try it, Bill.
You'll go down with me.
This had something to do with an
You
island.
have only 1 question.
Well, I'll go the whole way. Are you Robinson Crusoe?
Yes, That's all right. Don't be afraid. You did beautifully. And you, Mr. Crusoe, sir, isn't that a wonderful name? Do everybody kid you about that?
Get a lot of kidding.
I'll bet you do.
A lot of people, I should be ashamed to tell them my name because I know I'm going to get a kid in there.
No, it's a good name. It's a good name.
Yeah.
Well, Mr. Crusoe, you go on over there and meet our panel. You can shake hands with Bill Stern. You'll get nothing from him. From Joni and Carl, you will get checks for $25. And thanks so much from the makers of Johnson's Wax for bringing the name. Well, now let's meet our next guest with a famous name. How are you? May I ask where you're from?
Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Milwaukee. Good, good. And what do you do out there?
Housewife.
Housewife. Good. We know you've got a famous name, and it's a beaut. And we're all anxious to take a look at it. We are sending $10 to Mrs. Eva Strand of Milwaukee for submitting your name. Let's let our home audience see this lady's famous name. I'll bet you have some fun with that one, too, don't you?
Sure do.
Well, you remember our rules, panel. Miss X, you may answer yes or no, and that is all we'll give them. Let me tell you this. Is it Miss or Mrs.?
Mrs.
Mrs. X. Mrs. X's name is a thing. Is a thing. And let's start this round with Carl Reiner. Carl?
This thing, could I carry 1 or more of these in my pants pocket, say? I'm
No, you could not.
Yes, well.
Although it's an interesting thought.
Well, it's probably a sizable thing, then. Does this thing have any moving parts?
Yes.
Yes,
It does have moving parts.
Yes.
Would a man, an average man, be likely to use one of these in his office?
No.
Not used for work or
No.
anything? No. All right. Would this thing...
You said average man.
Yes,
All
I
right.
did. I don't know why I did, but I did. Would this thing make any kind of a sound or... Would this thing be used at all for pleasure or entertainment?
Yes.
Yes.
It would be.
Right,
Would it make a kind of a sound or music or something like that?
Well, it would make some kind of a sound, indeed. It certainly would make a sound.
Oh, wait. Does this thing ever work at different speeds?
Yes.
As a matter
It
of
does?
fact,
It does work at...
it certainly does.
Do many good restaurants and bars come equipped with this for the customer's pleasure?
Yes.
They
Yes,
do.
you would find them. You have 3 questions, Carl.
I may be a fool for asking.
No,
but
I don't think so.
If I were to stick a nickel into this, would music come out? I think I have ascertained irrevocably that this is not a jukebox. So I have cut that out completely. You can go on from there, folks.
Johnny, you've got 10 questions.
Well, this thing has moving parts and works at different speeds. Is it ever used by a housewife in the kitchen?
Yes.
Yes.
Does it have anything to do with food?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It does.
Very definitely.
Does it help keep food cold?
No.
No, it does not keep food cold, no.
Does it keep food warm?
No.
Sure. That's one of its most important uses, keeping food warm.
Does it have any connection with breakfast?
Surely.
Yes.
Surely.
It does?
Yes, indeed.
Well, when it gets to the right temperature, would you say the toast would pop out? Carl?
Yes.
Shall we dance?
Yes. They haven't been any
I
help.
pass.
You do, all right. Bill's turn.
So we find this thing in the kitchen. Is this something manufactured?
No.
This is not a manufactured article. Is it something that is found in every home?
Yes.
We certainly hope that it would be, yes. I think it would be fine. I think, well, you can't really say that. I'm sure it'd be found in pretty nearly every home.
Is this thing that we're trying to guess living?
Yes.
Doesn't that make you happy?
Yes, it does. I wish I knew what this thing was. This thing is living, and I know Carl has the answer, so I won't pass to Carl. Is this a person?
No.
By a person, I don't mean a famous name, but I mean, is this a living, human, breathing thing?
It is a living, breathing thing.
But not human?
That is correct.
Not you.
Now, Carl, I've set it up for you. You go ahead.
All right, Carl.
Well, it's so easy that I don't want to bother asking the questions. Is this thing eaten?
Yes.
It is.
Yes, and you have 1 question.
I have. I'm going to take a wild flyer at this. Are you a chicken?
Don't be so disorderly.
But I almost somebody out there's on my side.
It's a form of same, yes.
Could I have borrowed
You
a
are finished.
question
You are
from anybody?
finished. You are finished.
Can I borrow
Joni,
one from
4
Bill?
questions.
It is a form of chicken?
Yes, very definitely.
Well, does your name have the word chicken in it?
No.
No. You
Does it
3
have the
questions.
word hen in it?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, I'm going to give that to you. A hen.
A hen?
A hen is the lady's name. And may I say that when we think of hen, we think only of
Swanson.
the name of the finest chicken. Oh, this is the Johnson Wax Week, isn't it? The name of the finest wax. Oh, well. But anyway, Miss Hen, I bet you just have a ball. What is your first name, darling?
Evelyn.
Evelyn Hen. And what is Mr. Hen's first name?
Adolf.
Adolf Hen. So this is Mrs. A. Hen.
Adolf.
Wonderful. Now, I tell you what you do. You go on over there, meet our panel, and pick yourself up a couple of checks. Thanks from the makers of Johnson's Wax for playing the name. Now we come to the I'd Like to Be portion of our show, and here to play I'd Like to Be with us is one of the finest singers that you could ever hope to find. Got a wonderful show on CBS TV called Summertime USA, Mel Torme. How are you?
How are you?
I'm fine. I got
I've seen
you.
you since Florida.
That's right. Saw you at the opening down there, and you were just sensational. I
Thank
see you
you.
every other night or so. on
Tuesday and
TV.
Thursday.
Yeah, on another
Very
night.
nice. I think it's very nice of you to mention the other network. I think it's very sporting.
Oh, not at all. I do a couple of things over there myself.
Well, good.
I'd like our panel to go to work on you, Mr. Torme. Before the show started, Mel told us who he might like to be, just in fun, of course, if he were not himself. Right you are. Now our panel's going to try to find out who it is Mel Torme would like to be. Incidentally, if you knew Mel real well, you would have some inkling of, because this is a pretty legitimate thing as far as he's concerned. Let's let our home audience see that famous name. The same. The loser's checks go to Mel Torme's favorite charity. Let's start this round with Joni. We haven't started with you yet tonight.
This person you'd like to be, is he living?
No.
Has he ever lived?
Yes.
Was he an American?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Was he in the arts?
No. No.
No.
Was he in politics?
No.
I pass.
All right, Bill.
Was he in science?
Nope.
Was he an inventor?
No.
Well, let's try and establish when he lived. Has he lived within the past 100 years?
Yes.
Has he lived within the past 50 years?
No.
All right, Carl, I pass.
Carl, 10 questions.
Is he known for any particular deed or deeds?
Yes.
Were these good deeds or deed?
No.
No. He was a nasty. Oh.
Don't look at me that way, Carl.
This nasty person who you'd like to be, and I know you're a good person, did this person live in the eastern part of the United States?
Well, at one time, yes.
Oh, yeah?
Did he
Yes.
become famous or infamous in the West?
Yes.
You have 6 questions, and you're doing very badly.
clever.
Was he a cowgirl or boy?
Was he a cowgirl or boy?
I don't know. I just threw that in for levity.
Well,
I'd rather you
Was
didn't
he a
bother.
cowboy?
yeah.
He was a cowboy, a nasty cowboy. There's no such thing. Was he,
We wanted to
did he
bet.
have a brother?
No.
Then he's not the Jameses. Oh, is he known by his first name more than by his full given name?
Yes, he is.
I know you are.
You have 3 questions.
She does too, but I'm going to say it faster. It was Billy the Kid, wasn't it?
Billy the Kid.
Oh, you got it quick.
You really did.
Why do you want to be Billy the Kid?
Tell him why you want to be Billy the Kid. What happened? Who dropped the camera? Why do you want to be...
Well, first of all, because he was a great ladies' man. I'm sure he'd dig that crazy pink lipstick you got on.
But he wasn't a velvet fog.
Well, yeah, but he was as notorious with a set of guns as I am with this velvet frog voice. So on the level, I've always been a great student of Western history, and he is one of my favorite characters of the Old West.
That's Fog Along Torme. Mel, go on over there. Say hello to those characters. Pick up 2 checks, one from Joni, one from Bill, and thanks from the makers of Johnson's Wax for being on with us.
Thank you.
There's the check.
Dig the pink lipstick.
Now let's meet our next guest with a famous name. Well, hi, young man. Where are you from?
Carteret, New Jersey.
Carteret, New Jersey. I suppose you go to school out there, don't you?
Yes.
Good for you. All right, now, before we play our game, let's let our home audience see this young man's famous name. Very incidentally, sending $10 to Mrs. Rita Royce of Perth Amboy, New Jersey, for submitting this young man's name. Once again, a reminder that our legal experts have checked the authenticity of the gentleman's name. Panel, once again, you remember the rules. Yes or no, Mr. X is Master X is all you. How old are you?
9.
Oh, well, you're a big guy. All right, let's start this round with Bill Stern. Bill?
Are you living?
Yes.
Are you an American?
Yes.
Are you a man?
Yes.
Are you connected with theatricals?
Yes.
I'll pass.
About 2 minutes to go. Carl, 10 questions.
Are you a performer?
Yes.
Do you appear or did you ever appear on television?
Yes.
Is your prime claim to fame because of your television work?
I would say that it was a 50-50
Okay.
claim, 50% of the gentleman's claim to fame.
Was the other half, the other 50%, gathered in the movies?
No.
Or was it gathered in radio?
No.
There was a certain amount of fame gathered in radio, but you would not know him primarily.
I pass.
Was it gathered in theater?
No.
Was it gathered in vaudeville?
No.
50% was in television. And the other 50% was gathered in the newspapers.
Well, as a matter of fact, yes. You have 8 questions. You have 7 questions. You're lucky girl. You fell right into that.
You mean the other 50% gathered because you did something rather startling,
No.
is that right?
No.
Oh, it isn't right.
No, I didn't help you very much, did I? You have 6 questions.
I passed.
All right, Bill, 6 questions.
From what Joni stumbled on, are you a newspaper man?
Yes.
Were you famous as a newspaper man before you went on to television?
Yes.
Do you write a column?
Yes.
Shall I go the whole way?
You might as well, Bill.
you might pass.
You have 3 questions.
Pass if you want.
I can think of only a couple who are in television and write a column. Are you Ed Sullivan?
That is right. I just hope Ed is looking in tonight. I think, did you ever meet Ed Sullivan?
No.
Would you like to sometime?
Yes.
I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to call him and have you go over, if your folks will bring you in, to go over and see one of the Toast of the Town show. Would you like to do that?
Yes.
All right, you wait after the show. How's our time situation doing over there? All right, you go on over there, young Ed, and pick yourself up a couple of checks, and thanks to the makers of Johnson's Wax, playing the names of the second.
Hi, Ed. How are you?
Very good.
Sal and I'll be back in a moment, folks. Tell you how they did and a little bit about next week's show. And hens. All right, let's have a little accounting. Bill Stern, will you make your report, please?
Bob, I lost $50, and I really enjoyed playing the names the same. Thank you, Bob.
Good for you. How about Joan Alexander?
I lost $75, and I didn't enjoy it a bit. Good night, everybody.
All right, Carl Reiner, what's the score?
Well, as Joan Alexander, I lost $75, and most people know that Joan Alexander is a very intelligent girl, which puts me in a class with Joan Alexander.
I'm not sure I follow you, but it's an interesting thought. Good night, Connie. You did very well. I thought it was sort of fun myself tonight. Well, folks, that about does it for tonight. Been brought to you by the makers of Johnson's Wax. The panel and I will be looking forward to seeing you again next week at the same time on The Name's the Same, which will be brought to you by the C.A. Swanson and Sons people who make the finest chicken in the whole big fat land. Good night.
These were the times when scandal rocked the White House and we shook our groove thing. When car doors went up and walls came down. Cloning was in, inhaling was out, and everyone wanted to be a millionaire. GSN plays it back with marathons of each decade's greatest game shows. Then, all new specials of unforgettable game show moments. 3 decades, 3 Sundays, 1 memorable event. Play it back 70s, 80s, and 90s. Sundays from 1 to 8 starting September 7th only on GSN.
Sounds like